2, and our Module 2 team is creating the beacons environment for transformational leadership. There is a body of knowledge around the beacons. The beacons are men and women who are light, who reflect light, who show light, right? But then there is an environment that guarantees transformational leadership, and that environment needs to be created. There is something powerful about environment. I need to say this. If you have a seed of corn that has potential to give you many more corns, but you carry that corn and then you put the corn on your window, the bedroom, the window of your bedroom, for 10 years, that corn can be there without producing more maize. Why? Because of the environment, not the potential now, but the environment. So we have people who are very, very gifted, talented, who are full of potentials, leadership potentials to drive change, to drive initiative, to produce results. But then there is a missing link, which is environment. They don't have the right environment to shoot up. They don't have the right environment to become something that is transgenerational, something that is influential, something that can change a generation, right? And this module is designed to help create that beacon environment so you can become a transformational leader. If you don't have the environment, you won't become a leader. You might have the knowledge, you might have the strength, you might have the zeal, you might have the potential, but without the environment, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot become a transformational leader. The best you can be is a transactional leader. Yeah. With competence, with skills, you can be a transactional leader without the environment. But environment plus competence plus skills plus potential, you can become a transformational leader, which is level 5 leadership. All right, so in this module we have 3 lectures, which is a continuation from lecture 3. So the 3 lectures are lecture 4, 5, 6, and lecture 4 is potential to profit paradigm for transformation. Potential to profit paradigm for transformation. And that is what we're going to be doing tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to be looking at ritual and routine paradigm for transformation. And then we're going to be doing a movie called Inventus. Inventus is the movie for this weekend, right? And then we're going to be seeing Inventus, and we're going to be doing review for Inventus on Sunday night. I'm super excited for you. This weekend is going to be an amazing weekend. So you're welcome. My name is Lawrence Oguejiofor. I am the executive director, School of the Essence. And tonight I will be putting on the facilitator's hat. So I am going to be facilitating lecture 4, potential to profit paradigm for transformation. Very quickly, our course objective number 1, discovering the seed of greatness deposited in your inside. So there is something in your inside called the seed of greatness, and the seed does not show so much. The seed is not something that everybody sees and clap and appreciate. No, the seed is a deposit. It is still in its potential form. It is when it becomes a fruit that people can now appreciate and even recognize and even reward, right? But you need to know that no matter where you are coming from, no matter your background, no matter what you have not gotten yet, no matter what you have gotten, no matter the shame, the pain, the struggle, the trauma, the guilt, whatever it is you are passing through, no matter what they are, you need to know that there is a seed of greatness in your inside. Yes. And one of the things this course is going to be doing is to help you discover that seed of greatness. Number 2, developing this seed into multiple seeds. So it is not enough to have one seed. So will have to develop the seed into multiple seeds, right? And then number 3 is maturing the seeds into fruitfulness. So this seed has to be matured into fruitfulness. We must make this seed fruitful enough so that it can become a treasure to a generation. Generations does not eat seed, they eat fruits. Generation does not really so much pay any attention to seed. They pay attention to fruit. So we in this course we are going to be seeing how we can mature this seed of greatness in our inside into fruit. And mind you, every fruit have a seed. Every fruit have a seed. So if you are a fruit, there is a seed in you. If you're a seed, you must press to become a fruit, right? All right. And finally, the fourth objective is to help in deploying the fruits to profit and to promote societal transformation. Mm, right? So this fruit that we are going to be maturing your seed into, you must learn to deploy it. You must learn to give it out to profit and to promote the society for transformation. These are objectives for this course. Terminology, there are some terms we are going to be using, like the course title is Potential to Profit Paradigm for Transformation. So you have potential, a word we need to know. You have profit, a word we need to know. You have paradigm, a word we need to know, and we have um, transformation, a word we need to know, right? So potential talks about having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. What am I saying? You have potentials, you have the capacity to develop into something great and mighty in the future. So, as a leader, you must not look down on yourself. As a leader, you must first believe in yourself. As a leader, you must look at yourself and see yourself as the solution. Not a solution, not one of the solution, but the solution. There is a problem that have your name tag on it, and you alone is the person that can solve that particular problem. Perhaps you don't know what it takes. You don't even know what the problems are, but you need to first know that you have potentials. There is so much potential in your inside to become a great impact and a great influence to a generation. Number two term we need to know is paradigm. Paradigm talks about a standard, more like a standard, more like a perspective or set of ideas. Is the way we look at things, the way we see things. That's our paradigm. You and I does not have the same paradigm. So you must understand that if you must operate as a leader from potential to profit, then you must know paradigm, the way you think. What's your mindset towards you? What's your mindset towards your assignment? What's your mindset towards a generation? Do you see yourself as is in one of your module? I think one of your lectures, I gave you example. I think it's in module one. I gave you example on the attitude of the lion and every other animal in the jungle. How that the lion see those animals as lunch, and those animals sees the lion as eater. So paradigm, it all depends, it all boils down at how we think, what's our mindset towards a particular thing. So we must ensure that our paradigms are up and running. We must also ensure that our paradigm conform to something that is so superb, so great. Stop thinking thoughts that does not have value. Stop thinking thoughts that cannot transform your life. Stop thinking thoughts that cannot regulate the results that is operational within your state and within your place of primary assignment. Stop thinking those kind of thoughts. So you must re-expose yourself to the right kind of thoughts, to the positive thoughts. These are part of what paradigm does. And then transformation talks about a complete change in the appearance, excuse me, of character, a complete change in the appearance of character. So you need to know that when we talk transformation, we are saying that there is a need to have complete change in your appearance and in your character, the way you are perceived. You must keep improving. That's transformation. You must keep improving into complete change in appearance of your assignment, in appearance of even yourself, right? So this course must affect your physical operation and all of that. The way you look, the way you talk, the way you present yourself, there must be evidence and traces of transformation. right? So that you can be numbered among the leaders. So it is very important I mention these three things, these three terms. You're going to be seeing it again and again. Uh, Potentials, paradigm, and transformation. All right, very quickly, I'd like us to just travel into our slide and see what's next we're going to be looking at. Okay, this is paradigm. Now, you are more than what you have done and what has happened to you. It's a mindset, it's a paradigm you need to have. I call it paradigm shift. You need to keep telling yourself, I am more than what I have done. I am more than what I have accomplished. And what has happened to me, good, bad, and ugly, I am more than it. You see, you keep reaffirming these things until your paradigm will have a complete change. As a matter of fact, I learned, I think it was this morning from, can't remember his name now. But the original person that gave that quote was Jim Rohn, right? Where he was saying that a person's result or accomplishment is directly equal to the person's level of transformation. So your mindset, your transformation decides your whole life level. I needed to say that. So there are many individuals whose lives, I mean, are like oak tree. So they are trapped within themselves, and then they are like butterfly that will never fly. The butterfly has potential to fly, but will never fly. So the society, like the plantation owners, they see nothing in them but useless, worthless, and all of that. But we must really start seeing paradigm shifts talk about a major change in the worldview, a major change in concept, a major change in practices, a major change of how something should work and be completed or accomplished. So you must sustain the right paradigm for transformation. Hmm. Can you see my screen? I need somebody to speak now.
Yes, sir.
Oh dear, yes. Quest for finding you. I need to tell you that you are missing. We are looking for you. That is what this module is doing. This module is looking for you. You are missing. You are missing. Most of you seated in class tonight, you don't know who you are. So if I ask you, who are you? You start telling me stories about where you were born, the school you attended, and all of that. That is not who you are. So the quest of finding you, there are a few questions that we need to ask ourselves if we are going to discover or find ourselves. Number one is, who am I? Who really am I? Who am I? Really? Who am I? Excuse me. Who am I talks about? Who am I talks about you as a person, right? It talks about you as a person. Who are you? What exactly is your what exactly is your business? What exactly is your why are you who are you? Like, who are you? Am I the last born of the family and that is it? Am I the first born of the family and that is it? Am I who am I? Who am I? So you must get to discover you. You are missing. Because see, if you're actually not missing, this will not be your result. A minute, please. All right. So that is the first thing we need to look for. We need to look for ourselves. Who am I? Number two is, why am I here? Why am I here? Why did I come on earth? These questions have to be answered, guys. So if you're doing a screenshot, do if you're not, just write it down so you can sit down and get the answers. Ah, yes. So why am I here? What brought me to earth? What brought me to earth? Did I come to earth to just look around, just see people, just greet, just have a car, have a house, train my children, and that is it? Why am I on earth? What am I here for? That is very That is very, very important. So the question, why am I here, has to be answered. Number three is, how much potential do I have? How much potential do you have? How much potential do we have? How much potential do I have? You need to find out. Get a pen, a black paper, and write down everything you can do. Yes, how much potential do I have? Everything you can do. Make sure you put them down, and then that will help you um you know start getting into it. By what criteria should I measure my ability? So you want to measure your ability. What are your criteria? Some of you measure your ability based on what society is saying. Oh God. You measure your based on what society is saying, based on what your background is saying, and all of that. So you must find out, right? You must find out. Another question is, who sets the standard? I used to ask this question a lot. When people say some stuffs around me, I'll ask them, who sets the sound standard? Oh God. That is very important question to answer. Who sets the standard? And then number next is, by what purpose, by what process can I maximize my abilities? What are the process that are needed for me to maximize my ability? You need them. And finally, what are my limitations? Most of you don't pay attention to your distractions, you don't pay attention to your limitations, but you have to. Moving forward, you need to know what your distractions are, and then see how to move up from there. Oh dear, I am okay. Is this recorded? So let's move on. Right, so these 2, 4, 6, 8 questions must be answered. You need to just sit down alone and try to get answers from your inner man. That is very important, right? Okay, look at this guy. The quest of finding you. Look at this guy. Who knows this man's name? Are we still in class?
Yes, sir.
Abraham
Yes,
Lincoln,
sir.
sir.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Abraham Lincoln. So this man on the screen is Abraham Lincoln. And let me share a bit about Abraham Lincoln, because we're talking in one of our job in one of the slides that you shouldn't look like what you have gone through. You shouldn't at all. You shouldn't look like what you have gone through. In fact, as a matter of fact, you should look better. You should look better. So look at Abraham Lincoln. Let's see him. Consider the life of Abraham Lincoln. His story is one of the most dramatic example of a man struggling to release the wealth of potential. So this guy has potential inside, driven by potential. Oh God. Guys, are we continuing this class?
The network is really poor. Oh, we can, sir.
Even my
Even my
network and all
network and all. The network
just
is
hanging.
really bad, sir. It's coming and going.
Yeah, yeah. But then you can hear me now.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
just
Let's
manage.
just manage.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so look at Abraham Lincoln. We say that his story is one of the most dramatic of a man who is struggling to release his or her potential. Just in case I have Abraham Lincoln in my class tonight, you are struggling to release your potential. There is something about you that the world should benefit from. That you are this gifted, you are this talented, you are this solution packaged individual, but then you're not finding expressions. You keep knocking on doors and they keep turning you down and shaking you off and all of that. We need to have this conversation, because that was the story of Abraham Lincoln. Right? Now Abraham Lincoln um lost his job in 1832. He lost his job in 1832, and then he suffered the death of his wife in 1834, or rather, before his wife died in 1830. After he lost his job, he was elected to the legislature in 1834. That same year, 1834, he suffered the death of his wife. You know what that means. What looks like a breakthrough came, and then his wife was no more. And then by 1836, he suffered a nervous breakdown. Jesus, the guy ran into a lot of debt, in fact, a lot of stuff, right? In 1838, he was defeated for Speaker of the state legislature. So he wanted to contest, not he wanted to, he contested for the position of Speaker in that legislation where he was working at the time. Right? So he was defeated for nomination for Congress again in 1843. He was defeated 1838. In 1843, he was defeated again for the nomination. Just let's nominate somebody that will go for us and represent us in Congress. The nomination, he was defeated. He was elected to Congress in 1846. That is after 4 years, or rather after 3 years. He was elected to Congress, right? He was re-elected for the position of land officer in 1848. He was defeated for the Senate in 1854. He was defeated for the nomination of a vice president of the US in 1856 rather. He again was defeated for the Senate in 1858. Can you see defeat, 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 defeat? Defeated 1858, defeated 1856, defeated 1854, like that. So this guy had a lot of defeats. He had a lot of reason to throw the towel. He has a lot of reason to say, I'm not doing again. He has so many reasons. As a matter of fact, he has a lot of reasons to give up. But then in 1860, he was elected president of the United States of America. So this was how Abraham Lincoln came about, and he became a figure. How about you guys? Is this your life? I know some of us, we have failed. I know some of us, we've made some terrible mistakes. I know some of us, we are even thinking that our worst days are here. We are living based on the consequences of our action or inaction. I know we have one thing or the other to say. Yeah. But then, have you found you? Have you discovered you? So that self-discovery is very necessary. Everything in life was created with potential and possesses the potential principle. Everything in life. Nothing in life is finished. Everything in life is. Yeah. Nothing is finished. Everything is a seed and it keeps germinating and all of that. So, but then let me ask you again, where are you in life? Are you just everywhere? All right. So let's look at this slide very quickly, oh dear. Let's look at this slide very quickly. In every seed, there is a tree. Do you believe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In every bird, there is a flock. In every fish is a school. In every sheep is a flock. In every cow is a herd. In every boy is a man. In every girl is a woman. In every nation is a generation. So you need to understand, in you that is seated is a leader. In you that is seated is a solution provider. In you that is seated is an answer. In you that is seated is a leader that the world is waiting for. You need to emerge. Stop sitting, guys. It doesn't matter how far you have failed before. Come on now. Look at Abraham Lincoln. Failed woefully and woefully and woefully, and still he persisted and later became the US president at the time. So, how about you? Have you found you? I know that in every seed there's a tree. Yeah. So let's run. But then we have a tragedy. Tragedy strikes when a tree dies in a seed. When a tree die in a seed is a tragedy, is a tragic situation. As a matter of fact, we must not die limited. We must not die small. We must not die without bringing out everything that is deposited in us. So you must learn to be strong and to fight that until that transformation happens. But then there is a tragedy number two when a man dies in a boy is a tragedy. And I hope you know this die is not necessarily natural death. When hopes are gone, when decisions cannot be taken, and all of that is death. Another tragedy is when a woman dies in a girl, an idea dies in a mind. Okay. So the problem of our world go unanswered because potential remains buried. That is why we are still here. If each and every one of you decide to bring out your potential and polish it, we are going to have a better nation. But when we look back, it looks better. Excuse me. So the problem of our world, we always go unanswered until potential remains unburied. Yes. So what is your own tragedy? You that is in class, what is your own tragedy? We all have different tragedies. There are some things I'm looking into my life and I'm crying. Is my tragedy. What's your own tragedy? Can we take one submission? What is your tragedy? Who is telling us? I want to overcome procrastination. Thank you very much, Chibike Clement. I want to overcome procrastination. That is tragedy. Thank you very much.
I want to go beyond being inconsistent. Being consistent, sorry.
I want to go beyond being consistent. That is coming from Favor, Gabriel Favor, Chioma. Okay. One more, one more, one more, one more, one more, and then we hit the ball rolling.
Sir, I want to go beyond just having a dream to executing it, like beyond that fear of can I achieve it to really achieving it.
Mm, excellent, excellent, excellent. Getting into the accomplishing phase without fear of favor, right? Not looking back or thinking if it can be done and all of that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I think we have tragedies and we need to face them. And this course will help you address a few of them, right? So let's move on. Okay, there's a guy we're going to be examining. His name is David, and David is the study guide for potential to profit paradigm, right? And David was a shepherd boy. David was in the cave called Adullam, and David was a king. So there is a room for transition management. Why I'm saying all of what I'm saying, don't think that your life is called to be in a fix. No, there is a transactional measurement. There is a transactional quality and all of that. So that we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional with transaction transition management. So for David, he transited from a shepherd boy, and then a time came when he was in the cave called Adullam, and then later on he became a king. Okay. Ah, God. Oh, I'm really struggling for this. I don't really know what's happening. Okay, so let's see where we can just tie up the class for this night. Now, David is the second king of the nation they call Israel today, right? Israel is a formidable nation that every individual needs to study from. Israel and Singapore, right? We are still going to be doing Singapore, and tonight we are doing Israel. So, mind you, please, those of you who are religious, don't use your religion lenses to follow this course. You're going to miss a major part of. Don't use your Bible eye to please. This is not a Bible studies or a Bible school. I don't know. No. So the Bible for this particular module is a reference material. It's a reference material that we can reference to and learn from and move on. So there is something called transition management. Transition management is to be able to hold on when you are moving from one level to the other. You are holding on. You are holding on. No matter what, you are in charge of your transition. That is transition management. You don't allow your transition to happen by chance. You don't allow your transition to happen by circumstances. You are in charge of your transition. So David became a shepherd boy from a shepherd boy. uh, From the shepherd boy, he was able to move to the cave of Adullam and then to becoming a king. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. David as a shepherd boy. So what about this guy? What about this guy's paradigm as a shepherd boy in the constitution or documented in First Samuel in section 17, subsection 34 to 37? You see the way I call it? uh Know your pastor in church, right? So please follow me. Follow me. I'm doing a reading. I'm not preaching. Hmm? All right. So there's this guy called David who was a shepherd boy. And this is what he got to say. David said, I have been a shepherd boy tending sheep for my father. Whenever a lion or a bear came and took a sheep from my flock, I had go after them, knock it down, and rescue the lamb. If it turned on me, please, I need you to follow me. If it turned on me, I had grabbed it by the throat, wring its neck, and kill it. Yeah, and kill it. He said, and I will do the same to the Philistine pig who is taunting the troops of God alive. God, who delivered me from the teeth of the lion and the claws of the bear, will deliver me from this Philistine. Saul said, go and God will help you. Now let's draw out our leadership lesson very quickly from this particular shepherd boy experience. Notice he said, I have been a sheep tending, I have been a shepherd tending sheep for my father. This is where it begins. Who are you? Who are you? So this guy knew who he was. He has been a sheep, a shepherd looking after his father's sheep. It is not his sheep, it is his father's sheep. And yet he is giving energy and his life to it. This is leadership. Some of you, the moment they delegate small thing to your hand, you cannot be a leader. Yeah. So it begins with being a shepherd boy. If you're going to be leader, then you must serve. It begins with service. It begins with service. A minute, please. Oh dear. Okay. right? So it begins with service. And if you're in class, if your potential is not being schooled in the school of service, that potential cannot make you a global leader. It doesn't matter how good you are in a thing, you must serve it in the school of service. Serve your potential in the school of service. And four ways to serve potentials. Number one is by volunteering. So you must begin to start looking for environments where you can volunteer and become a leading force. So shepherd, he was tending the sheep of his father. If they give you responsibility that is not originally your responsibility, and you know it's not original responsibility, how do you manage it? How do you intend to take care of other people's task assigned to you? That paradigm is the paradigm for potential to profit. So you need to understand that you have to be a shepherd boy. You need to serve a cause, you need to serve a purpose, you need to serve an essence, you need to just make sure that something is going on with your purpose, with your passion, with your talent, with all of that. Just ensure that. All right, guys, please verify you can still hear me.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I can hear you very well.
Okay, so it begins with that, being a shepherd boy. Currently, what are you serving? If you are in class and you are not serving a course, you are not a leader. What are you serving? Who are you serving? What course are you charting? What course are you serving? What So number one, I said you serve through volunteering. You need to strategically contribute a portion of your time to an organization or to an individual or to a system and serve and serve. All right. So this is it. He became a shepherd boy and he was taking care of his father's sheep. Now he said, whenever the lion or bear came and took the lamb from the flock, he said, I will go after them and knock it down and rescue the lamb. That talks about risk for leadership. Risk for leadership. If you are in class and you don't have the capacity to take risk, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let that paradigm start changing. Because without risk, there can be reward. It takes risk to enjoy reward. So this guy that we are studying, this King David now, that we are studying at this point, he was involved. He was involved. Some of you, you are in it, but you are not there. You can't even take risk for that thing you claim to be part of. That is not leadership. That is not leadership. So ability to
Hmm?
take ability to take risk, the things that are coming after who you are becoming, are you watching them or are you going against it? The distractions that are coming your way, how do you manage them? How do you manage social media distractions? How do you manage content creation distraction? All right, so there is that we need to pick. Number two is risk, your ability to put your life on the line to achieve what you need to achieve. That is a hallmark of leadership. Put your life on the line. All right, let's continue. I'm sorry, I'm really, 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 really struggling at this point. If it's turned on me, this is it. So he's expecting revenge. He's expecting that whatever he's about to fight is going to fight him back. But most leaders don't even expect. In fact, our mind is not going there. In fact, we chicken out when those forces are coming. But this guy was expecting, he said, if it's turned back on me, I had grabbed it by the throat and killed it. So he goes after it and kill it. To kill means that the distraction are not being petted. You are not petting it. The distractions are not being what's the word now? You are not trying to use emotional sentiments to make the decision to be, yeah. So you must locate your distractions and you must go after them. You must destroy them. You must bring them down. Let me give you a few of those distractions. Number one is social media. Social media has a weight of distraction. That sometimes when you pick your phones, you forget what you need to do there. All right. So, and he didn't stop there. He said, and are we number one? Okay, favor, you're giving us a note. Number one is responsibility. Responsibility. I have been a shepherd, taking sheep of my father. Responsibility. Number two is risk, reward. Yeah. All right. So let's see what we can do. We can't break this class. I'm sorry. I wish we can. Can't break this class. All right. So let's see. Number three, he said, and I will do the same to the Philistine. So he knows how to equate what he wants to bring down to his natural and physical environment. See, listen, whatever you are learning, if it can't translate to your natural and your physical environment, you are not learning well. You are not learning well. Okay. At that point, just a minute. Let me see if I can bring down. All right. Let me see if this camera is off. It could help my data bandwidth. All right. And then you must learn to translate the whole problem in your mind into your physical environment. If what you are learning does not translate to your physical environment, you are not learning enough. I know some people who learn a lot of things and they have it on their head, but in their immediate environment, there is lack of that particular ability and potential that they have. It's wrong. It's wrong. Okay, so let's move on. Learning to translate the mental solution into physical solution is leadership. Some of you can talk, you are rhetorical. You can talk from now till next year, but you can't do half of what you are saying. You are not, that is not leadership. So you must keep building pragmatism as against rhetorics. Pragmatism as against rhetorics. Rhetorics is to talk, talk, and talk. Pragmatism is to do, and do. Right? Okay. And then he narrated his story. It was on the strength of this story that he received the empowerment and enablement to go and fight that battle. The battle was older than him, but because he has a story as a shepherd boy, he was able to fight as a warrior. Listen to me. Your story now will give you the platform tomorrow. Yes, your story today will give you the platform tomorrow. In one of my training, where I was showing, I think it was stewardship, the four things you need to steward. Number one is your time. Number two is your treasure. Number three is your where are they now? Time, talent. Yeah. Number two is talent. Number three is treasure. And then number four is testimony. Testimony is your story. You must learn to use your story to keep growing. I used to say it again and again. Each time I'm trying to get something done and it's not working, I will remember when I was stuck like that and later broke through. When I keep saying it, keep thinking it, the solution for that immediate one will come and then I will scale through. That is how I have been living. So you must understand that these um solutions that are in your mind, in your head, and all of that, we must translate them into physical solution. So much so that your immediate environment will feel the impact of what, sorry, a minute, please. All right, as a shepherd boy. So look at this guy, David at the cave of Adullam. Please, somebody should unmute and give me a feedback. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So David at the
Yeah.
cave of Adullam. Thank you. Thank you very much. David at the cave of Adullam. I hope you got the point. David as a shepherd boy. Please, every one of you, make sure that you are shepherding something. Make sure you are running an errand. Make sure that you're a volunteer in a place. Make sure that you are in service. Make sure that your life is counting. Because if you don't have stories of leadership, you won't be able to do big stuff. The goal is to do big stuff, but everything global start local. Everything global start local. So we need to insist on what we want. We need to insist on how to get it. All right. So number two is David at the cave of Adullam. David at the cave of Adullam. Now, in the book of the Constitution, 1 Samuel subsection 22. So David left Gath and escaped to cave. At this point, his life was under attack. His life was under threat, some very serious threat. So they wanted to kill him. At this point, they wanted to kill him. So he was running for his life. This guy was the second king of Israel, the Almighty Israel now. He was the second king. So his life is worth studying, right? So David at this time was escaping for his life. Why? Because they wanted to kill him. So his life was under attack. So where did he went to? He went to a cave. Look at the picture. A cave is a place where people don't easily go. It's not attractive, it's not fun, there's no civilization there. So he ran to a cave. But then this is what got our interest. Then others began coming. Men who were in trouble were coming to him. Men who were in debt were coming to him. Men who were discontented were coming to him until he became a captain of 400 useless men. So even while he was at this cave, this is a transition. He has transitioned from being a shepherd boy. He has transitioned from being a shepherd boy to actually being an exceptional leader. So at this point, he escaped for his life. Now, the concern was not that he's running for his life. The concern is that while he was escaping for his life, 400 men who were in trouble, who were in debt, who were discontented, who were dissatisfied, they all gathered themselves to him, and this guy became a captain over them. Where he became a captain over them was in a cave. There is no comfort in a cave. This is leadership. You are learning leadership tonight. So please stay with me. There is no comfort in the cave. Yet, he was a captain of 400 guys. He was training these 400 guys. He was building these 400 guys. He was developing these 400 guys. He was showing them how to get a thing done. This is a leader who was running for his life, and other guys who were also running for his life came and met him. If it were you, what will you say? Let somebody, just one person, tell us. If it were you, you are running for your life. You need shelter, you need accommodation, you need security, you need to be covered. And then you find out that some people are coming so that you will be their leader. And these people does not have solution to your own problem and their own problem. Rather, they are in debt. Tell me. All right. So at this point, who is speaking? If it were you, what will you do? I need somebody, a one or two. Please, let's hurry. Let's hurry.
Sir, honestly, if I was in the position of David, I will be scared because I'm in trouble. I'm looking for shelter. I'm looking for a way out. And then people are coming to me. First, I will be scared. I'll be very skeptical. But with time, because of my personality rather, I think I will accept them and then we'll look for ways to sort ourselves out.
Beautiful. She says she will accept them and they will look for ways, but then at first she's going to be scared. Also, thank you for that honest feedback. Yeah, Joy. Joy Jesse, your hand is up. Can unmute.
All right, if it was me, I'll save my head first though. Before thinking of these people.
So Joy says if it were her,
Normal
she's going to
terms.
save. She's going to save herself first before thinking of these people. Actually, this is it. So it takes being a certain leader to really, 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 really put down whatever it is you are going through. Most leaders, that is why leaders who are level 5 leaders, oh, who are level 5 leaders are guys who, so sorry, Monirat. She says she can't hear anything. So sorry. You might have to log out and log in. Somebody should guide her. Right? So they are not self-centered. You might not have the things you are giving. Yes, the things you are giving out to people, you might not have it. You don't need to have it as your own to give it out. You might not have the food you are giving out to people to eat. You might not have it. That is leadership. So you need to help. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't be self-centered. Look for younger generation and contribute to them. That is leadership. You can be teaching them in a particular, just make sure that you are currently giving out to those who you are better than. That was exactly what David did. That was exactly what David did. I'm sorry. We're running really, 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 really late. We should be in our conversation. Now look at David before the king. David before the king. At this point, King Saul gave his own armor to David. Look at the classification of that armor: a bronze helmet and a coat of mail. David put it on, strapped the sword over it, and took a step or two to see what it was like. For he had never worn such things before. And this is what David said: I can't go in this. So he protested to Saul, I am not used to them. So David asked, right? So David took off again, and then he picked up 5 smooth stones from the stream and put them into the shepherd bag. Then, armed only with his shepherd's staff and sling, he started across the valley to fight the Philistine. So at this point, he had opportunity to come before the king, and the king started to introduce something new and foreign to him. He tried it, but it didn't work. Leaders stick on their conviction. Leaders stick on their integrities. Leaders stick on the things they know. Leaders don't try out new things in front of the battle. Whatever has brought you into leadership can sustain you. So when you come before great people, influential people, public figure, don't bend your conviction because you are not one of them. That is not a leader. All right. So let's see. I need one or two persons to speak on this before we move on. Yeah, network is really, really grinding us this night. Really grinding us. All right. So who is speaking before I bring out the lessons? All right. So leaders, please, you have to just be used to what you are used to. Be used to what you are used to. Don't get yourself entangled with don't get yourself entangled with things you are not familiar with. You probably will be doing yourself a dishonor and a disfavor, right? So leaders are intentional with what they are doing. The things that you are used to, the things that are part of your testimony, hold on to them. Don't change them because a new trend is coming. Don't allow trend to collect your value system. Don't allow trend to collect your 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 areas of mastery. Over time, David has built mastery with his catapult and his bag. Then suddenly, the Saul wanted him to do, you know, and all of that. So that is not leadership. You must be firm. Look at him. He tried it. So leaders are dynamic. Okay? Leaders are dynamic. If you're going to be an emerging leader, then you have to be dynamic. When you see some stuff like that, try it. But you're trying it is not to say you are going to use it. You're trying it is to just get to see the other side of the coin. Munirat, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir, I
Okay,
can
you're
hear you
welcome
now.
back. So try it, be flexible. Leaders are
Thank you,
flexible.
sir.
Leaders are flexible. Leaders are not rigid. Leaders are not static. And that was what this David did at that point. Even though the bronze helmet, even though the bronze helmet and the coat of mail looks fine and look like something that will protect him, he said that he he took a step or two and then he sees what it was like. That is it. You just see what it is like. Don't go and put your whole leg into it. Just see what it is like and then make a discerning correction moving forward. So as a leader, you have to be flexible, you have to be dynamic. But then why you do that, you have to, you know, yeah. All right, so he immediately revoked that. Me, I cannot use this thing. The moment a foreign tools is introduced to your leadership and it is not part of your training, is not part of your development, is not part of your value, please cry out. Please cry out. Cry out. That is how to be a leader. Because you see, the first person a leader leads is themselves. Yes. And if you lose capacity to lead yourself, you are not going to be a good leader. So you have to lead yourself. The moment they are introducing things that you are not comfortable with, please cry out. That is how to be a leader. Say, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, sir. This would have been nice. I mean, but then I'm sorry, I am not used to this. This is what I'm used to. I will appreciate if you introduce me to this and that. That is how to engage. That is how to go about. Any question on this? Okay, or maybe we'll just we'll ask question, right? So look at it. Look at another lesson. Lesson number 3. So David took them off again. He took off those stuffs, the things he's not comfortable with. He took them off. Then he picked up 5 smooth stones from the stream and put them in his shepherd bag. That is leadership. Huh? You must know the right arsenal for every battle. All battles don't need the same weapon. All job don't need the same tools. And as leaders, you must know the right tools for every single project. So for him, he went and picked his 5 stones, and that 5 stones worked wonders in his endeavors as a warrior in that time. So that is how to go about it. And then finally, so David as a king, and David as a king will help us review one thing. And David shepherded them. Shepherded them with integrity of heart and skillfulness of his hands. He led them. So there are two things that every king, every leader, the moment you become a leader in your own domain, then there are two things you must lead with. Number one is integrity of heart, and number two is skillfulness of hands. So you must learn to use the two, both integrity of hands and skillfulness of hands to navigate as a leader. Yeah, as a leader. So look at what MSG said. MSG said his good heart made him a good shepherd. He guided the people wisely and very well. So I trust that we are going to really, really know how to manage transition. You see, at every point where David was transitioning, he knows exactly how to go about his potential. This is one of the reasons why potentials will not be buried, because you know exactly what to navigate these potentials into, so that you can have all of that, right? So please, integrity of heart, what does it mean? Integrity of heart means that your heart is made up to do the right thing regardless of the pressure or pleasure. Regardless of the pressure or pleasure, your heart is made up to do the right thing. And you need to understand your environment, right? So it's integrity of heart, do the right thing. If you're saying one, one should be one, two should be two, three should be three, four should be four, five should be five, and the rest of them, right? So he led them like that. And skillfulness of the hands talks about skillfulness of the heart, hands, I mean, of the hands talks about competence. It talks about competence. So as a leader, you need competence. You need competence. You need competence. You need to know how to do it and how to do it well. So I said, school your potential in the school of service. That is how your potential can become profit. Until you school your potential in the potential um until you school your what is it called potential in the school of service, you might not really be exceptionally great, right? So before we get into our conversation, which school is your potential currently attending? Where are you serving your potential? Where are you serving your potential? If you don't have anywhere you are serving your potential, write the potential down and put on the group chat, and your location will help you. Your potential needs to be active and active alone. So their key takeaway, we are going to be receiving some key takeaway, and then we're going to be getting questions and engagement from the class. So we'll put the three of them together: takeaway, takeaway, questions, and engagement. So I need to say this: leadership has a lot of demands on potential. Until your potential is schooled, it cannot be a profit. And you that is in class tonight, you need to understand that you have so much. You have so much, right, that can really make you an exceptional leader. The only problem is that those things you have are still on potential level. They have not been able to be harnessed into becoming what is it called now, profit. And that is where the challenge is, right? So having said all of this, I want to do this three together: key takeaway, questions, and engagement. Let's do them together before we shut down for the night. So if you want to talk, you can just wave, and then you can be allowed to unmute and talk. Yes. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Yes, who is going first? We don't have takeaway. Yes, Munirat, please go ahead, unmute.
Thank you, sir. I'm only going to talk about David, the shepherd. I mean, if there's anything I learned from there is that it doesn't have to be comfortable. As long as you are doing the right thing, you should just make sure you do it right. And once you get it right, you can always know how to navigate your ways when you find yourself in a situation. I mean, if you have done it before and you find yourself in a different situation, there's a way you can, pick a lesson from what has happened to you before, or what you have navigated before, to also find a way through the current situation. I think that is what I learned tonight. So I couldn't get, lots of things tonight because of my network, but that very one I got the message. Thank you, sir.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, 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 wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much, Munirat, for those amazing takeaway. I know most of you, your temperament, most of you in class, your temperament are 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 deceptive, right? You because of the way you see things in a very big light, and you can't start until you are at that light. No, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. So get it done one step at a time, and then at the end of it, the perfect picture we show. Thank you very much. Yes, Nelly Pius. Pius, you have to teach me your name. I need to know how to pronounce it.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, one of the things I learned is, though there are numerous, but just to highlight that few, that aspect of um volunteering as a leader and ability to take risks. I discovered that there are times I'm so scared to go out of my way to just take some risks. But with this lesson this evening, I've learned to give room for that. And another thing also is trying to translate what I've learned to my physical environment. That one too is a kind of a challenge. I love learning a lot, but I discovered that sometimes I just keep the knowledge to myself without trying to translate it to my own environment. So these are the major things I learned this evening.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you very much. Um, let me teach you how I take notes. When I'm taking notes, there is a section of my notes I call action point. Action, action. So whatever it is I'm learning, I'm putting down my action, so that when I leave the lecture, I'm going straight up to work. Right? I think that will help us. Action, things to do. Yeah, that will help us. Thank you very much, Pius, for that beautiful, beautiful one. I am super excited for you guys. Before I do summary, okay, comfort, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Um, One of the things that really struck me, it's about this issue of not allowing trends to change your value system, what you uphold as a person, your belief and convictions, because there is always this temptation to drop your values because of what the multitude, you see the multitude doing. Maybe they are all going towards this way, and then because you feel like you're the only one there, you tend to want to go towards that direction because there are values we should never compromise. So as a leader, David knew his strength, and then he didn't drop it because maybe King Saul was telling him to go this way and use this what they call it, this Amos, yes, this Amos. He knew his strength and he stood his ground. And it was because he stood his ground, he didn't compromise, he didn't tilt towards what King Saul was telling him. He was able to win the battle and conquer the enemies. So that's my own takeaway.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You see, we've entered a generation, we've entered a season where we are going to have so much coming from trends and all of that. Let me tell you the truth. Trend comes and go, leaders remain. Leaders remain, right? So you must be, while you are also careful not to be trend driven, some trends are generational. So you have to learn also to adapt to them. You have to learn flexibility and all of that so that you can effectively drive whatever is in your hand part time. So there are trends like that are plus plus. Hmm? That are plus plus. And thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Comfort, for that. Don't use the tools that you are not used to. Don't use the tools that you are not used to. So when someone is trying to introduce something to you and you know you are not used to it, you have never used it, and you are about to take on a major project, you will flop. Nobody rehearse on the project day. Nobody rehearse on the project day. So we have to be disintentional, disintentional, disintentional. So you see from this guy, I think we still have a few time. No hand is raised yet, so let me just run through again so that you can understand very, very well. So you see Abraham Lincoln. We talked about him. You see the number of time Abraham Lincoln failed. You see the time he failed, right? He lost his job in 1832. He was elected to the legislature in 1834. He lost his wife, his sweetheart, in 1834. He suffered a nervous breakdown in 1836. He was defeated for Speaker of the state legislature in 1838. He was defeated for nomination of Congress in 1843. He was elected into Congress in 1846. He was rejected again for the position of a land officer in 1848, 49. He was defeated for the Senate in 1854. He was defeated, right? Okay, so let's continue. He was um, defeated for the nomination of a vice president in 1856. He again was defeated for Senate in 1858. It was now in 1860 that he was elected a president. One thing that was constant with Abraham Lincoln was that anytime he fails, he pushes higher, he increased the bar. Most people fail backward, he fails forward. If you are not able to achieve the little things, don't settle for the most little things. Rather, increase your bar. That is how to build your potential. You must learn to increase your bar. You are trying to make 10,000 naira, for instance, in a week, and it's not possible. Increase your bar to 15,000 naira. See, you keep stretching. If you stretch for 15, you will get 10. Yes. So you need to be this intentional with your lead life. I'm just using money because most of you can relate with money, but it's not about money now. It's about leadership. So you must learn. If you fail this in this area, increase the bar. When you have a bigger standard, you will stretch to accomplish it. It was this story, this failure story, that landed him into becoming the president of the US in 1860, because Abraham Lincoln has refused. So how will somebody who was defeated, look at, in 1856, he was defeated for the nomination, not the election, no, nomination of vice president, that we need a vice president. And he came out for nomination. They rejected him. They defeated him at that nomination level. How can somebody who was defeated at nomination level for the vice president come out for the next election as a president? What mindset was driving him? What paradigm was driving him? That is what you must get in this course. That is what you must get. What is driving Abraham Lincoln? What drove him that he kept failing and kept increasing his bar? He kept failing and kept increasing the standard. What did he know? What did he know? He understood that he had in him the seed, the potential for greatness. And this is what you need to answer. Who am I? How am I here? How much potential do I have? What am I capable of doing? By what criteria should I measure my ability? Who sets the standard? By what process can I maximize my ability? And finally, what are my limitations? So these things will help you. They will help you, design your life in such a way that your life will take an upward turn moving forward. I just needed to state all of that. Very, very profound. I needed to state them so that you know exactly the magnitude of assignment that is on our hand. We don't have to relent. It doesn't matter how many times we have failed. It doesn't matter how many times we are yet to succeed. It doesn't matter who believed in us and who did not. It doesn't matter who is believing us and all of that. So we need to be intentional in deploying the seed of in the potential in us. We need to be careful in nurturing them. We need to be careful in selecting the schools that we do all of that. So this is our submission. We have to be highly intentional with our lead life so that we can indeed convert our potential to profit. Let me say this for the last time. It doesn't matter what your potentials are, they will never become profit if you don't do the right thing with them. What are the right thing? Number one, you send your potential to the school of service, let them serve. Number two, you take responsibility. Number three, you take risk and be dynamic enough so you can indeed become that shepherd boy, and all of that. Look at, I like this guy. I like the way he managed his transition. How do you manage your transition? Some people, the moment they get into the higher institution, first from secondary school of being a jambai, you see them, the transition will start making them behave a certain way. Transition has made a lot of people depressed. Transition has made a lot of people overexcited. Transition has made a lot of people to have mixed feeling. Transition is tiring. Yeah, transition. So look at this guy. He was able to navigate his way from being a shepherd boy to being to that guy in the cave of Adullam, taking care of other guys. And then from the cave of Adullam, he became a king in the same community, in the same country home. Why? Leadership. All right. So that is very important that we establish. And then look at him at the cave. He was running for his life, and then 400 people came to him. He did not chase them back. Sometimes children, teenagers, and people that you are better than will come for you, and because you are tired, you are chasing them back. Because you are tired, you've not eaten, you are transferring aggression. No, that is not leadership. So you must be calm to accommodate the situation. It doesn't matter your emotion. That's why I told you leaders are first logical before emotion. All right. So at this point, he was very intentional in giving attention to the lesser as the greater, even though him himself was not safe. And then here we talked about sticking on your familiars. Stick on the ones you know. Don't be, you know, and all of that. Stick on what you know and all of that. And then here we saw how he led them. He led them by the integrity of heart, and he led them by skillfulness of hands. We say we should school your potential in the school of service so you can become highly, highly exceptional. So these are what we have for tonight. These are what we have for tonight. I want to take a few questions so we can continue in a way. Yeah. Thank you very much for following this far. Thank you. Please, if you have a question, feel free so we can just shut down for this night.